Building is one of my favorite aspects of survival games, so of course it follows that I would check out Nightingale's building system in depth. So today's video is going to feature what it looks like to connect two little pieces of land across a flowing river with a bridge. I want to check out the building limitations as well as take a look into what the early game building looks like. As you will see, I am using the crude stone set, which you unlock fully once you reach your second realm. So I do have the slanted roof pieces that are missing when you first get into the game. I'm also going to mention a few tips and tricks that I discovered as I was building in hopes of helping you all make it through some possibly frustrating sections of getting into Nightingale's building system. So right off the bat, the first thing I want to mention is that in order to get into your build menu, you hit B on your keyboard, and then once you've placed down your blueprints and then added your materials to them, you can click X on your keyboard in order to either delete, move, or duplicate those pieces. Unfortunately, it does seem that the shift and scroll mouse wheel button in order to change the height of building pieces, particularly foundations, isn't working right now, but that I'm sure will be fixed as Nightingale progresses through its early access. The first thing I found is that all of Nightingale's building is tied to foundations. It's a foundation-based system. So unless you're placing a freeform structure like a portal or a fairy ring, everything is going to have to be connected to a foundation. So foundation, then walls, then roof. Once you have placed a roof, however, you can wing like a wall piece off the side of that roof. The problem is when you try and connect that wall piece down to the ground, it doesn't want to connect because there's no foundation for it to connect to. As someone who has put hundreds of hours into building in these survival games, I will say that I don't have the feeling of freedom with Nightingale's building system that I do have in other games such as Valheim, of course, Enshrouded, Ark, Atlas. They all seem to have a few more options to freeform and really customize your buildings. All that said, I have not reached endgame yet, so I don't have all of the additional building pieces unlocked, so I will have to circle back and do an endgame build video at some point to touch back with that whole idea. I will also note that there is a structure limit. I didn't reach anywhere near the limits as I was building this bridge. There's like an individual structure limit for individual pieces and furniture that you place, and then it looks like there's a housing limit, so like individual buildings, and that's up to 100. So that's a really high amount of buildings that you would be able to place into a realm. As I said, I have not hit any of those limits. They have not been an issue for me. So on my next endgame building video, I will try and push those limits and see exactly what happens when I do that. But in general, Nightingale's building gets the job done, and the pieces are just pretty at default. So your stuff is probably going to look pretty nice unless you build some kind of monstrosity. And along with building pieces that look really nice, the environments in Nightingale, even though procedurally generated, so the realms, are stunning. And then on top of that, when you add all of the different realm card options that you can pick from, you can get some really unique looks up in the sky. The environment changes. You can have planets out, stars, rainy days, clear days. I really love that aspect of it. So depending on what your mood is like, you can alter the way your abeyance or home realm looks, which I love. So I did find that you can place foundations under the ground a little bit in order to try and get the height that you want, or make the foundations not appear so that you can then build on top of them as if that square block of foundation wasn't there. This is pretty complicated though, because you can lose track pretty easily of where you put your foundation, and then things don't snap up properly and you end up with a mess. So I decided to go ahead and delete what I had done. I left just one foundation at the base of the stairs of my bridge so that I could put some cool looking pillars that you would see kind of down near a coast. So like pillars along a boardwalk with the rope around it, it kind of gives me that ocean sea vibe, which is what I'm going for here. And then of course the foundations that I used are the crude stone foundations, but I didn't quite like how it completely blocked off the water flowing underneath the bridge. So at the end of my build, I went back and I put in one of the crude wood foundations, which then allowed me to see the water flowing through, and I think it made the bridge look way nicer and make more sense in terms of physics. Something else I really love about Nightingale's Building is that as you are collecting resources and handing off everything that you've gathered to your NPC companion, upon returning to your respite, they will go and add whatever building pieces to the blueprint are still needed. And it's really, really convenient because when you get over encumbered out in the world and your NPC companion has tons of stuff on them, you can just go to your map menu and hit return to respite. Even if you're over encumbered, you will zoom right back to your base and you can just go ahead and add all those materials, no problem. Super nice quality of life feature. I really hope that that doesn't change as the game progresses through early access. This is my end product. I ended up with a functional bridge that I think is pretty cute and fits the coastal setting pretty well. What do you guys think of it? I think my next project is going to be upgrading my little starter shack into more of what I would consider an estate, maybe like a walled estate with a nice little garden courtyard and a fairy ring out back. So I think that's what I'm going to work on next. If you're more interested in Nightingale's gameplay, I already have 2 Nightingale gameplay videos out that are among the last few that I've done on the channel. So please check those out and give those some love if you're interested about combat and getting into some dungeons. I'm going to have an early access review and thoughts video coming up. I just want to make sure that I give the game as much time as I possibly can because I'm on the fence about a few things and just waiting to see how they play out end game, so keep your eyes peeled for that too. I am a Whispabird, and that is it for me today, guys. If you have any questions at all about the building system, please do let me know and I will answer them as I progress through the game. I hope you all are enjoying your games, particularly if you are journeying into the Feywilds of Nightingale. I will see you all in the next one.